The style picker is an easy way to copy properties from one object to another, whether it's stroke, fill, FX, or all of them at the same time. It's supported in all the Affinity products. So let's jump in. What's up guys, it's Trent, and today we're going to be looking at the style picker in Affinity Designer. It's supported in all products, but we'll be looking at Designer just because I find that easier to give a demonstration with. This topic was requested by Marsha in one of the comments of my previous video, so if you have any requests, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll add it to my to-do list. So while we're here, let's take a quick look at the color picker tool, and this will show us some limitations and what we can actually do better in the style picker tool. So with the color picker tool, what I can do is I can select one of my objects here. I selected this gray square, and I'll select the tool over here. It's this eyedropper. And what I can do is I can click different objects to get that color. So I can click the blue object, I can click the red object, I can click different parts of my image down here, so the blue of the sky, the kind of yellow-green of the grass here. What we can also do is adjust the stroke. So for my stroke property, let me add some thickness here so we can see it. When the stroke is selected, I can select different colors here. So I'll check blue, pink here. Now I've made kind of a mess of my object. If you ever want to reset your object, what you can do is you can click this button up here that says revert to defaults. So I'll click that. And now my image is back to its gray self again. Now when you select the color picker tool, there's actually some options up here, and most of them aren't that exciting. You can choose whether or not you want the color picker to apply to your selection. You can also select global and current layer for the source of what you're going to pick. And perhaps the one that's kind of interesting is this radius. So what you can do is you can actually do an average of the colors around where you click. So I'll select this average here. So this is a good one for images. So for example, if I want to select part of the sky, I'll click here. And you can see I'm getting kind of like an average of the blue. Same thing with the grass here. It's a good way of selecting color when you don't have a precise value. One thing you do want to be careful though is if this is too big, if you click to the edge of something, you're going to be picking up all the area around it. So if I click on the edge of my image here, you can see it's very light because it averaged in a lot of that white around that area. I'll change this back to 1. So this tool is good for many scenarios, but it's kind of limited when we want to do more advanced things. We can only really select the fill or the stroke. What if we want to select more properties? Well, that's where the style picker comes in. The style picker can be accessed right under the color picker if you click and hold on it, and you can choose style picker here. Now it's a little tricky to use at first, but I'll try to go over the pitfalls to make it easier for you. Now first, you actually don't have to have anything selected to use this tool. You can just click on areas and it will work. Now the really important thing here is that the way the cursor looks for this tool really tells you a lot about what it's going to do. So right now it's empty. You can see that it's just this empty little eyedropper. If I go and I click on my shape here, you can see it filled up a little bit and it has this black part in it now. That means it's holding a style. So what I can do now is I can go and I can click on another shape like this rectangle and I can apply the style. Now if I want to pick up another style, let's say this gradient dotted line over here, well I'll click on it and that didn't do what I wanted to do. That applied the purple to this. So let me hit Control Z. The reason it did that is because my cursor is still holding a style in it. So a quick way to get rid of the current style is to just click on some white space. And now it's empty again. And when it's empty, what that means is now when I click on something, I will pick up that style. So for this dotted one over here, I'll click on it. Now my cursor is black again. And I'll click on my square over here. And I applied the style. I'll click off. I'll click on this heart. So I picked up the red. And I'll click on that. So I clicked off again to empty it. I'll pick up this gear. Now this gear has lots of effects on it. So I'll click on that. My cursor is black here. So I'll apply it to my square again. Now, like I said, my cursor is black, so I can click into the white space to unload it. There's also these options up here, and you can click the unload button. So right now, my cursor has a style in it. I'll click unload, and you can see it's empty. It's a little cumbersome. I prefer the method of just clicking onto the empty space, but the option is there if you want it. So let me pick up a style again. And what you can see is there's these checkboxes up here. This determines what style you're going to pick up. So let me select none of them, and now I'll just select stroke. So now with my empty brush, I'll click on this second square here. And now I'll click on my rectangle over here. And you can see it just applied the dotted line to it. It didn't apply the gradient or the fill. Let me reset this here. I can also just apply the fill. So let me select fill here. I'll make sure my style picker is empty. It's all white. I'll click the gear. Now I can apply that green to my rectangle here. So these options here let you choose what you want to pick up and what you don't. I'll turn all of them back on again. The reason I chose this heart here is because it actually has some transparency set to it. So let me create something behind my square here. So with my style picker, I'll just select the layer opacity. And if I click on the heart, I can apply that opacity to my gray level here. So I'll click on it. And you can see it made it opaque too. So that's just one I wanted to demonstrate because it wasn't quite obvious how it worked. I'll turn all of them back on again. Now I've created a couple different shapes here. You can also apply this style to multiple shapes at once. So I'll pick this style here. And if you click and drag, it'll actually apply it to the ones that are in your area here. I'll undo that. I could also just click on them individually if I wanted to. And again, note that my cursor has that black part filled in, so that means I'm applying a style. If I wanted to do a different style, I would click off. And I'll click on some other object again to fill my cursor again. And I could apply it to different things. The style picker also works with text. So here I have some stylized text on the left, and I have some kind of boring text on the right. Let's see if it works here. I'll click on my style picker. I'll sample from this example here. And I'll go and I'll click on my words. So you can see I clicked on one word and it just did that. Let me undo it. This would be a good example of clicking and dragging to include all the text that you want. So I'll click and I'll drag over it. And I'll let go. And now it actually applies the style to all of it. So whether or not you want to do one word or all of it, it's really up to you. But if you do want to do all of it, clicking and dragging is a good way to do that. I'll empty my style here, just click in some white space. I'll click on this word here. Maybe I'll apply this style to this word. And then I'll apply this style to this word. So this is how you could use the style picker with artistic text. Here I have some frame text, and again, it works just as well. So let me select the tool. And I'll click on my pink text over here with some type of font. And I can click and drag the parts of my target text that I want it to apply to. Maybe I can choose some other text here that I want and apply that here. And like I said before, I can undo this. If you want the text to apply to the whole thing, just click and drag over all of it, and then it'll apply to everything. And this tool is available in Affinity Photo too. You just have to enable it through View, Customize Tools, and then it's somewhere over here. Here it is. Just drag it over to your toolbar here. Wherever you want. I'll close it. And then it works exactly the same way as it did in Affinity Designer. Just select it. And I can load up a style here. And then I can apply it to my shape here. And clicking off would reset it. So just an extra step you have to take in Affinity Photo to enable it. If you have any questions about this tool or how to use it, feel free to leave a comment below. As always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.